Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I am Chris Randazzo, and joining me hopefully tonight is Series of Orbs, Dan Ryan.
I mean, we're going to try our level best, man. No guarantees.
We couldn't think of anything to discuss this week, so we finally did the unthinkable. I downloaded and played Pad. How did it go? Level up your monsters, because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now. Well, hi everyone. This is episode 349. It's the week of March 11th, 2021, and Dan is having internet troubles. How you doing, Dan?
So many internet. You know the trouble I've been having with internet pirates, Chris.
Man, you got some serious-ass internet pirate problems.
Oh, my God. When you hear the step thump, fucking internet pirate troll. It's the word. Dude, it's been awful all day. Like, I was trying to work. My shit kept dropping out. And, like, when I say I was trying to work, I was trying to, like, watch videos at work of people playing Pad. So, some other shit. Just trying to, like, watch what happened to fucking... Because, so, last night, Sunday night, was Aew Revolution.
I've seen a lot of people tweeting about this.
Oh, boy. Well, see, they had... the main event was Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose of the WWE, but Jon Moxley versus the god of professional wrestling, Kenny by God Omega. And they had an exploding ring barbed wire death match. Okay.
You're going to need to explain what that means exactly.
So what it is,
exploding ring barbed wire death match?
Yes.
That doesn't sound legal.
Well, so here's the thing. It's a match that was super popular in Japan and in America in like the late 80s and shit. And
can they kill each other?
No, God, no.
Because it's not a death match then.
Right. I mean, they can, the stuff that Combat Zone Wrestling does when they do their Tournament of Death, that gets pretty close to like, maybe you shouldn't like turn the weed whacker onto that guy's stomach. That wasn't cool. You really shouldn't have fucking done that, because now he's like legit bleeding out and has to go to the hospital. You fucking psychopath. God damn. Yeah, I saw some sick shit in Delaware, because they have to have the death matches in Delaware now, because Delaware is like, fuck it. Like, that's their attitude on the athletic commission. Like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Just go beat each other up. It's cool. So anyway, these matches were like super duper popular back in like the 80s and shit. And Onita and Terry Funk. So Onita is a Japanese wrestler. Terry Funk is an American hardcore legend. Used to have these matches all the time, and they would take either all four sides of the ring or three of the four sides of the ring, and they would replace the ropes with barbed wire. Okay. Now, yeah, it's mostly rubber tipped barbed wire, but like they left a couple barbs out. So like, oh, I got a scratch and I'm bleeding. And then they rig up like flash bangs, like just little flash pods, so that when you hit the ropes, it pop and like some smoke comes out in the light, and it's like, wow, the ring ropes are exploding. Oh, it's fucking, and they way oversell it, like they're getting burned and shit. It's fucking stupid. On the outside of the ring, right, there are these boards that have barbed wire on them naturally, and underneath, as you do, right, and underneath of them there are quote unquote landmines, and when you get thrown outside into the what the hell did they call them, the 3 stages of hell or something like that. some overwrought emo bullshit. um, those explode, right, and like puff of smoke and whatever. So it's fine. Like it's fun. It's not as dangerous as it sounds. Like, yes, there's barbed wire. People end up getting cut or whatever, but it makes for a fun and entertaining match. But the whole point of the exploding barbed wire death match
is the exploding.
So the gimmick, the big gimmick of the match is that after 30 minutes, the ring is going to explode, and all of the explosives that have not gone off yet are going
like wrestling speed.
It is.
If you don't wrestle hard enough, the ring will explode.
If you do not win in 30 minutes, we're going to kill all the people on this bus. It's fucking ridiculous.
30 minutes or less. Everyone dies, but your pizza is free. So naturally, because it's wrestling, right? It always goes to the time limit. Always. It has to. Because at 59 seconds, like air raid sirens start going off, and it's like, woo, woo, like warning. It's fucking ridiculous. And then it always happens. Hey, you're just sitting there on the edge of your seat. Are they going to kill everyone?
Are they going to kill everybody? This is going to be great.
Have they gone too far?
I'm so excited. I might watch people die, like, right now.
I can't look away.
I can't. It's like...
Someone's going to jail for this.
So what happens is that every time they have one of these matches, the match ends, and like somebody will run in to make the save because like the guy who won gets out of the ring and the other person's laying beaten and bloody in the ring and his friend comes out to save him. Or like right after the match, all three people, like the two wrestlers and the fucking ref, will like huddle together as like the ring's about to explode because that adds to the drama, whatever, right? And it's usually just this ridiculous explosion that happens. And it's really nothing more than just a lot of smoke, right? But it looks cool, okay? So last night at the pay-per-view, the countdown happens and Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers leave the ring, and Jon Moxley's laying there in the middle of the ring and he's not going to get out on time. So his buddy comes running in, Eddie Kingston, and they've had a big feud, and this is going to be Eddie Kingston's big redemption moment. He's going to save Jon Moxley, right? He is going to lay over top of Jon Moxley as the ring explodes. And the countdown gets to 0 and it goes... a couple smoke cannons go off on the corners and some fucking sparklers. And that's it. And just nothing. And Eddie Kingston is in the ring selling his ass off like he is passed out, like they legit killed him. And it's like, do you ever see Joe Dirt? That's a weird question, but
no, I have not.
It's a scene in Joe Dirt where fucking David Spade just goes on like a 2-minute rant of asking about all the different fireworks that they have. And the guy ends it, he's like, "Nah, we ain't got none of that shit, but we got sparklers." And that was about it. These were like, there are more explosions and smoke in people's regular entrances than there were after the air raid sirens had gone off. It was, in a word, embarrassing. like, ooh, you fucked up, man. There's no, and it's so bad. It was so bad and such a disappointment. Like the proverbial fart in church. It was so awful that there's really no way to save it other than to come out and be like, yeah, we fucked up. Sorry. That sucked. And moving on. So anyway, that's what I did with Dean last night. Now you're watching him play this game. It was, I don't know, it was just really funny because everybody, like, we're all in the chat, and Matt Ramo is on there. You know him. And we're all chatting back and forth, and everybody's like, wait, what? Huh? Are they... That's it? Why is Eddie Kingston acting like he's dead? There was a little bit of smoke. Like, it was smoke to the point where you'd go, and then you'd be fine. Like, that's how much there was. It was unreal. It was what you should do, anybody who is listening to this,
is you should look up AEW Revolution 2021 finish, and you'll see the ring. And then you should look up just any Onita, ONITA death match, and you'll see what it's supposed to be. And if they had pulled it off, like it's cool. I mean, it's not. It's fucking nerdy, but it's cool. And like you can see the difference. It's crazy. Anyway, so technical difficulties. I don't even remember how we got here. Was it because of Dean and you watching the thing?
Oh, I have no idea. I think we were just talking about what we were up to. Somewhere in the middle of that conversation, Dan left for like 25 minutes or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
my internet.
It was a while.
My internet was just like, nah.
That's it. I'm leaving.
You don't need to record this podcast tonight.
You can do this without me.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You could go jump through all these hoops.
You have your own internet, right? Like, you don't need me.
You don't need me.
No, that's why I pay for you. I don't make internet.
Oh, we gots to give the people what they want, though, Chris. We gots to. So I will jump through these hoops. Here I am. I've jumped.
There you are. All right. Did you play anything exciting? Because I mean, we're a little behind on time, but I got a lot of fun stuff I wanted to talk about. And before we get to our feature topic, so did you play anything of interest?
What did I do this week? I finished the main story quest in Ghost of Tsushima, which was incredible and just spellbinding and breathtaking and all of those superlatives that you're supposed to throw around about video games like that. But it was just an incredible experience. I just loved absolutely everything about it. So now, like, loved it to the point where I'm going back and finishing all the side quests and stuff of like, no, I'm just not done with this world yet. There's still Mongols to get off of this island. So I am super, super jazzed for wherever they go with that franchise next, because it is obviously it's a video game, so it's left open for more. So I'm really, really
like
excited.
Ghost of Tsushima, and then it's like and Goblins of Tsushima.
Oh, that would be fun. Well, like, because I don't know, Kevin, it's been long enough, right? So spoilers. At the end of the game, you are branded a traitor because you are not fighting the way that a samurai would fight. You're, using poison and all of these crazy, like it becomes very Tenshu at that point. So you're branded a traitor, and your uncle, who was going to adopt you as his son and turn over the legacy to you and all of that things, and you were going to be, the Jito of the island and all this shit, has to like bring you in. So you have this big fucking sword fight with your uncle in front of your family cemetery, like, and there's all these red leaves like falling in the background. It's gorgeous. And when you beat him, you get a decision. You can either kill him or you can let him live. So the right thing, obviously, is to let him live, even though he asks to be killed, right? Because that's what a samurai would do. Let me die with honor. You beat me in a fight. You got to kill me. But because you are no longer a samurai, your clan is free to be like, no, I'm just not going to do that. I obviously don't have to live by this code anymore. So, your uncle warns you that you'll be hunted the rest of your days and whatever, and you ride off into the sunset. And it's like, all right, well, sweet. There's so many more storytelling possibilities here. And it was it's just an incredible game. Just absolutely incredible. And then played a bunch more Miles Morales. Oh, and we did Fallen Order. Okay, so
I forgot you got that.
Yeah, so Uncharted with lightsabers. And and that's really what it is. It really is Uncharted with lightsabers, but it is so fucking cool so far. And like, we're only about an hour into it. But you start off and you're like the level that's kind of teaching similar to Uncharted. You get to this one point where you're riding a train back to your home, right? You're on a scrapper planet and taking pieces of like Jedi fighters and Imperial starships and all that, taking them apart and whatever. In this train, like, there's a message going out because you had to save your buddy. He was falling to his death, and you had to save your friend using the Force, right? You had to pull this thing over. And your buddy's like, they're fucking like, they're trying to kill the rest of the Jedi, right? You know, like the Palpatine, because this is in between episodes 3 and 4.
Okay.
So it's like Palpatine is coming after everybody. You know, you gotta get out of here, basically. And he's, you know, the main character, Kestis, starts freaking out a little bit, and he falls asleep on the train. And this dream sequence was so incredibly well done. So you wake up and you see your friend walking down through the train cars. So you go walking after him, and you're calling his name, and he won't turn around, and he keeps going to train car to train car. And eventually he goes through the door where you would imagine, like, shit, like, this door looks a little different. I'm getting up to where the conductor would be or whatever. I'm going to open it. I'm going to have to fight him or something because he's turning me in. And you go to click on the button to open the door, and it doesn't open. So naturally, if you're walking down a hallway in a video game and you get to a door that you can't open, what would you do?
Hit it with something?
Right. And when that doesn't work, what would you do?
Look for a key or a switch to open it.
Yeah. You turn around and start walking the other way, right?
Uh-huh.
When you turn around, so you've been walking through this dilapidated train car. You get to this door, you can't open it. You turn around, you're on what looks like an Imperial starship. Like, you turn around and all the walls, like, with the metal and the white, like, shit in the walls, and you just, like, long hallways. You're like, oh, fuck. But, like, and you see that you can't walk any further, so you turn around again, and you look like you're in a starship. Huh. And then there's, like, crazy fight happens, and then you wake up from your dream. It was so fucking cool. Wow. And then, like, yeah, he pulls out his lightsaber, and, like, there's a big fight, and the second sister has, like, this crazy lightsaber, and she's, like, hunting Jedis and whatever, and you get saved by these people who are, you know, there's, like, one little dude who's I can't remember anybody's names because we were playing it late Saturday night. But you get saved by these people, and then you end up on this planet, and you have to go infiltrate this temple, and you get your little robot companion, BD1, and it turns out that one of the people who saved you was a Jedi, but she's not anymore, and I don't know what that means because I've never heard that in Star Wars of, like, I was a Jedi. No, I'm not. Like, no, I don't. I'm not. I'm familiar with that.
Count Dooku, Ahsoka Tano.
No, but they're still, like, they still use the Force and shit, and, like, have lightsabers. Like,
Count
she
Dooku,
is
Ahsoka Tano.
Well, yeah, but this girl, like, no Force.
Ahsoka, like, Count Dooku just went, you know, was like, no, I'm a Sith, but Ahsoka was like, she's effectively a Jedi, except she's not part of the Jedi Order. She, you know, she's even got her own white lightsabers and shit.
Yeah, well, like, this girl doesn't have lightsabers, like, doesn't use the Force or anything yet. So we'll see. I don't know if they're going Ahsoka with it or not. I don't. But
even Kanan Jarrus, when effectively when Rebels started, he was hiding the fact that he was a Jedi.
Right. Sure. Yeah, but, like, she very specifically comes out and she says, "I used to be a Jedi. I'm not anymore." So I'm really curious to see where they go with it, and it controls really well, and it really does play like Uncharted with lightsabers.
Yeah, I should probably play this game, shouldn't I?
You really, really should.
I should play this game.
Like, honestly, we were sitting on the couch, and that shit happened with the turning around in the hallway and it being, like, looking like you're on the Death Star. And I looked over at Tiff, and I was like, Chris has to fucking play this game.
God damn it.
All 3 minutes in, like, not even 20 minutes into it, I was like, Chris has got to play this fucking game, man.
Right, all right. Let's see here.
Is it out on Switch? Or are you going to have to play it on PS4?
Probably. I'd play it on PS4, but I don't think that'd be a problem. What is this one called? Star Wars what?
Jedi Fallen
Order.
Yeah.
It's canon too, so I should probably pay attention to that kind of stuff. Let's see. Where can I buy Jedi Fallen Order and for how many dollars? That's $25 on the
I think I got it on sale for like 20 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure I can track it down for a decent price. I've had my eye on it, honestly. It's been one of those things that I've been thinking, it is a canon Star Wars thing. I just hear that it retreads a couple of stories that I'm already well acquainted with.
Sure.
And while it is canon, it doesn't seem to have any real implications to the overall world, but I don't know.
So, do you remember the first time you played the what was the last Star Wars game with the Dart, not KOTOR, but the one
Force
where you
Unleashed.
were the apprentice, Force Unleashed? You know how that game hasn't held up very well, but the first time you played it, you were like, "Oh my god, oh my god." Right?
The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I played through the whole goddamn game, and by the time it was done, I was like, "I really wanted to like this more than I did." It was cool, cool, but I assume this is not that.
No, this so far has that same impact of like, "Oh my god, this is cool," and the combat is good, and like you're flipping around, and like it's not complicated. I'm not having to do 15 different button combinations to do crazy shit with the lightsaber. There's a skill tree that looks manageable of like, I want to go into force stuff or lightsaber stuff or whatever. But like it has that same impact, but it feels like it's going to be a much better game. And like the people that made this are Respawn Entertainment. Like they're not a shitty new developer. They're the former Halo guys or former Call of Duty.
I don't love buying EA games, but
I don't either. But I was really, really impressed with the short time that I spent with this.
Well, I'm a little bogged down in stuff, but it's been a while since I've played a Star Wars game, which is weird considering I'm a Star Wars whore, but
yeah,
the fact that this game, it's I don't know. I've been so weary to pick it up because it's like it's an EA game and it looked like overly quippy when I was watching the videos. I was like, I don't know, man. This could be cool, but I've been burned by Star Wars games before,
and it very well might get to that point. It might. I don't know.
Hold
like
off.
I said, I've only played it for like an hour.
You keep me posted. Obviously, don't spoil anything else for me. I can just kind of tune out if you really want to talk about it. I'll just be like, I'm not really listening, so I don't get too spoiled or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm considering it. It won't take much to push me over the edge because I've looked at this game a bunch of times and been like, you know what? That's yeah. It looks like it's something that I should dust off the old PS4 for.
Yeah,
because I do love me some Star Wars, and if it's fun to play and it doesn't feel overly complicated, then I can't see a really good reason for me not to jump into it.
I haven't found it. So one of the things that I did was I turned on. You can turn on automatically grippable surfaces when you jump. Like, otherwise you would have to hit L2 to grab onto like a vine or, whatever. I'm like, fuck all that. I turn that on and I'm just jumping around and like flipping through levels and doing all this crazy shit, like, and wall running. It's fun, man. It's really fun. I liked it.
All right.
Oh. And then the last thing that I spent some time with, and I'm recording videos and I'm going to upload them because it's very, very silly and cheesy. They are having so the Marvel collab ended in Puzzle and Dragons Japan, and right at like the second that collab ended, the Street Fighter V collab started. So because of the new downloads and all that stuff, so they updated a bunch of the Street Fighter cards that were in there, and they added a couple other things. They added Dan to it, which is great. I haven't rolled them yet. I really hope I do. I don't have a lot of stones because I spent like 300 something stones on the Marvel collab. But they like put some new Evos out, and like Guile is ridiculously strong now and super fun to play. So I have a team that has Guile and the Hulk on it, and that like the Marvel versus Capcom fan in me is very excited. I also have an Akuma and Thanos team working together, that doesn't. It's really hard to play because you need a lot of combos to make it work. But again, it's Marvel versus Capcom, so it just makes me really happy. But they have a special dungeon in here that is all Street Fighter 2. So like when you load the dungeon, you don't have the crazy like mobs or whatever. All you have, it's just a one-on-one fight, and it's just Ryu. You have his pixelated Evo as your only card, and you take on a pixelated Evo of one of the other cards. So like I recorded the first 2 stages, which were Dalsim and Zangief so far, and it's got the Street Fighter 2 music, and it's got the same screen when you beat them, and the sound and all of it, and it's awesome, and I'm really excited about it. And it's so silly, but I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So I've been rocking through that a little bit. And really, Guile is so good now. Like, he was pretty good before, but they made his leader skill is somewhat difficult to pull off, but if you can, he's basically unkillable, which is pretty fun. But it is also hard to have 9 green orbs, because you have to make 3 green combos per board, and having 9 green orbs while still having enough other stuff to do damage with is difficult. But the Incredible Hulk card that they just put out has a 1-turn cooldown on his active skill and makes 6 orbs per turn. So it's like, all right, I know I have at least 6. So if I can clear a board and get there with at least 3 green orbs, then I'm good each board. But it's really fun to play.
I actually mostly understood that.
See, now you do. I'm so excited to hear what you think and see if this is the last show and we break up after this, if you are very insulting to my favorite game. We're going to find out. This might be it, folks. This might be it.
I'm going to cut ties with you and Dean in the same night.
On a very special episode of the Stone Age Gamer. Do the boys break up?
Driving him mad with my Mario Maker levels and trying to convince him not to make his girlfriend eat shitty pizza, and then tell you that that sucks ass. Good night, folks. I'm striking out on my own.
Dean, treat your girl right. Dan, get better fucking taste. I'm out. You got some dicks. Why do I associate with you people? And then there's going to be a whole like, why did you say you people? And you're not allowed to say that because you're white. And now this is the bad thing about recording up here, is that the dogs are in the other and like very loud.
That's okay.
That's what it's going to be. How's your dog, by the way? How's Naga doing?
She's good. We've finally transitioned her all the way as of today to salmon food.
Oh,
and we're hoping that after a day or two, the chicken has left her system and she stops being so itchy. But she's still pretty itchy. It's gotten better, but she's still got some problems. She keeps ripping, this stuff on her stomach open and whatnot. She's got a couple of scabs, so she just, anytime you let her outside in the backyard to do her business, she'll like lay down and like press her stomach against the ground and just start scooting back and forth, and it's hilarious looking. But and she comes back in with like her scabs peeled off. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Why you keep doing that?
Just stop it. No, but she's doing great. All things considered, we're trying to teach her how to play now.
That's good.
Really seem to get it, but
isn't that heartbreaking? You see like these grown ass adult dogs, and they've never had anybody to play with, so they don't know how to be dogs.
Yeah,
it breaks your heart.
I'm of two minds of it. Either one, she fits into this house so well that she really just wants to lay down at all times,
which is like definitely part of it.
Like, well, I mean, I could play, or you could pet me.
I mean, there are options here, guys.
But she does love other dogs, and there's this one just completely insane dog a few houses down named King, who like goes bug nuts every time we walk by, like almost jumping over the fence and like snarling and trying to bite through the fence and everything, but it's just to get attention and Naga's not phased at all. She'll just walk right up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Hey,
and she starts wagging her tail. But she's so excited to go over and see him. But no, my mom's dog, Fiona, when she comes over, like Fiona started getting really playful with her. And
Oh, nice.
since Fiona doesn't know what she's doing, last time she was here, she just started running around in circles around the yard. And then she ran towards Naga, who was just like, standing sideways. And she effectively full force jumped and then T-boned the side. Like she ran right towards Naga and Naga didn't move. And it's like she knew where she was going. She saw the dog. She just didn't know what to do when she got there. So she just jumped and went face first right into the side of Naga.
She's a bulldog, man. That's what they do. Those little, like Boston Terriers and bulldogs and pit bulls. It's what they do. They headbutt, man. It's weird.
She just sat there like, what happened? And
That's awesome.
She kind of didn't move around because it didn't phase Naga at all. She's
No.
this tiny little thing, and it was funny. So, she's getting there. We're teaching her how to play, and we want to get her around some more dogs because she seems to really enjoy that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
bring her
video
back up
games.
here. Yeah, video games.
Video games. Let's see. We finished Zero Mission.
Nice.
John is now like very much into Metroid. He really liked what we had played of Zero Mission as of last week. Now he loves Metroid, right? Took us about 2.5 hours to get through Zero Mission. He had seen me beat the NES version before.
Sure.
He did not know about the actual Zero Mission that happens next.
Oh,
which was
very
awesome.
cool.
We beat Mother Brain, and it's like, oh, so she was the last boss, huh? It was cool. And then we escaped, and he saw me go to the criteria and whatnot, because that wasn't in the original game. You just made it to the top of the thing and went in the elevator.
Right.
It's like, oh, you have to get back to your ship in this one. I'm like, yep, get back to the ship. And the ship gets shot down. He's like, what's all this?
Whoa. Wait a sec.
This is awesomeness is what this is. And he and Ellie were both riveted for that whole Zero Mission thing, all the stealth, getting caught in what they had never really seen a stealth game before. And they were just riveted. And like, he's looking at it like, oh my, Zero Suit Samus makes sense now in Smash Brothers with the stun gun. And it's like, it was all connecting to him. He just thought it was the coolest thing. So he finished that. Probably took about 2.5 hours total playtime to get that game finished. And then it was like, all right,
it's nice and short.
Yeah, because it's a remake of the NES Metroid, even with the extra stuff added on the end. Like, you could spend a lot more time, then go back with your powered up suit and find all the stuff that you missed. But, we had already done the game at that point. And
Yeah.
he loves this marathon thing. He loves going through. We're going through all the Zelda games. We're going through all the Mario games. And now we're into this mode with all the Metroid games. But where to go next became this weird point of contention, right? Because it's like, okay, the next game could be one of two things. I would love to play Samus Returns, but I know as soon as I do, they're going to announce it's coming out on Switch. Also, it's only on 3DS, so you'd have to like curl up next to me and watch me play this game on a freaking 3DS on this tiny little screen. And he at first was like, "Yeah, I don't know what's the other option." And I said, "Well, the other option is Metroid Prime, because storyline wise, Prime's the next game that happens between Metroid 1 and 2." And he was super into that idea. So I threw my Prime trilogy into the Wii U just to kind of mess around with it. And there's this thing about the Prime trilogy that really bothers me. There's two things. Thing number one is that they don't have the title screens in the games. It's just that menu, and then it boots you right to your save file in the game. So you don't get to see those really cool menus that they had in Prime 1, 2, and 3. The other thing that bothers me is that the first Prime, and I don't remember about 2 because I didn't mess with it at all, but first Prime was not designed for widescreen display. And the way that they solved that was that they made the game display in widescreen, but they didn't fix the HUD. They stretched the HUD. And that bothered the shit out of me the whole time. When I first played it on Prime Trilogy, that bothered me the whole time because, everything's an oval instead of a circle. Like, I'm so sensitive to effed up aspect ratios, and the fact that it was stretched always bothered me. And it bothered me again here. And so I was messing with it, and it's like, all right, this is kind of bugging me. And the pointer controls work, but I beat this game on GameCube, so let's plug that in. And I really wanted to show him the title screen, right? So I went over to the GameCube, I booted it up, I showed him the super cool title screen, and we loaded up my game, and I started playing, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I can't. When this game first came out, I hadn't really played other first-person shooters because I'm not a fan of first-person shooters. So I got used to those controls, and I made it through the whole game. Now I've played Doom. I've played Doom 2016 top to bottom, and playing a first-person shooter without dual analog controls felt so wrong. I wanted to like look around a corner and I couldn't do it. It just does. It doesn't work the way it should work. It needs to be dual analog. So when we play Prime, I am absolutely going to be playing it on the Wii U because the pointer controls let you do that. They work like dual analog. They work fine in my basement. It's just, you know, it's not how I want to play the game, but it's totally functional. And yeah, there are certain advantages to the way it aims and everything like that. But still, I want this game on Switch so I can play it with a dual analog control, for crying out loud. But he thought that looked kind of neat. He was really into that idea for a minute. And then he said, but I really want to play Metroid 2 next, so let's play Samus Returns. So that's what we did. I said, okay, I like this plan, because that's what I want to do. I want to play Metroid 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we can go back and do the Prime games. So he was like, there's a 3 and a 4? I was like, yes, Super Metroid is 3, Fusion is 4. He's like, oh, I thought they were Super Metroid and Fusion. I'm like, no. When you start the game, it actually says Metroid 3, and when you start Fusion, it actually says Metroid 4. Like, they're legit, those 4 games. So, okay, cool. I'm in.
Don't know why they didn't include it in the title, but they didn't.
But they did. Whatever. So we have been sitting around my 3DS playing Samus Returns, and it's working out great. And God, that game's good.
Yes.
I was kind of afraid that it wouldn't have been as good as I remembered it, because I remember playing it on the 3DS and just wishing it was on Switch and everything. And it had been so long since I had played a new Metroid game, right? I didn't know if I was just being blinded, but I just literally came right off of Zero Mission and went right to Samus Returns. That shit works. That game is great. It's so good. I love it so much. And it's killing me that it's not in high definition. It's killing me that I can't play that in HD on my TV, because the game is gorgeous. And what's weird is John keeps talking about how great the graphics are, which is weirding me out. He's like, this game, it's the coolest looking Metroid game I've seen. I'm like, wait till you see Prime, sucker. But still,
you ain't seen shit.
I mean, it is a really nice looking game, but God, it's all shrunk down tiny, and it just needs to be on the Switch. They need to put that on a TV. And I hate using the circle pad to control Samus and have to like keep jumping my thumb on the touchpad to do do certain moves and everything. It needs a traditional control scheme and on a TV. And that's been this recurring issue with damn Metroid games for so long, is shoehorning weird ass control schemes into them, right?
Shoehorning gimmicks.
Other M had its issues, but Other M, the biggest issue was the fact that I had to use the Wii remote sideways.
Yeah, that's dumb.
The game plays great. The game's story is anime nonsense and it's character assassination on Samus, but the actual gameplay is pretty goddamn good. It is a very solid attempt at 3D Metroid, which is not the easiest thing to do. That's not something that translates super well to 3D, as evidenced by the many attempts at Castlevania in 3D. They work, but then having that same feeling doesn't really work. Prime really nailed it. But Prime came out as, no, we're not doing dual analog controls. Even though we're using a controller that has 2 analog sticks, we're just not doing it. And then when it came on the Wii, it was Wii Remote Nunchuck with no option to play it with a dual analog control, even though dual analog controllers existed. And now we have Samus Returns, which is not really that. It's really just taking advantage of everything the 3DS can do. There's not with the number of buttons that are on there, I don't know how you would do that better, but with the 2 extra buttons that would be on a Pro controller, like the extra shoulder buttons, you could map what was on the touchscreen better there. Like swapping weapons, I've got no problem with. It's the morph ball tapping the screen instead of it being a button would have been really nice to just drop into morph ball, since you can't play with the D-pad. You have to play with the circle pad.
Playing with the D-pad was the way to fix that. That's the...
I know
why they didn't.
I don't know that playing with the I know we said that before, but as I'm playing it this time, I feel like playing with the D-pad makes less sense, because I'm using the 360-degree aiming constantly. I'm always stopping and using the 360-degree aiming, and I would not want to do that with a D-pad, because it doesn't It doesn't work that way. You need that circular motion of an analog stick. But if I was using an actual analog stick, it wouldn't be a problem, but it's the circle pad. So it's harder to do. Like, you can tap an analog stick down twice to get to like do something like get into a morph ball. That's not hard to do on a proper full analog stick. On a circle pad, it is.
Yeah.
So I have to use when I go into morph ball, I want to use the button to just immediately drop into morph ball. I don't know. It's weird.
No. If they mapped it to like the character movements with the D-pad and the 360-degree aiming to like the right analog stick, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Right. I'm forgetting there's a whole other analog stick that they could be using. That would be something.
Right.
Yeah, they could do something really good with this on the Switch. They could really make this game shine.
Because it's almost got at that point, like, and even with the circle pad, it's got a little bit of a twin stick shooter kind of feel to it. And there's a way to do that and really make that work, I think, on the like on a Pro controller.
God, so how would you jump like that? So like could you imagine moving around with the analog stick and then, or even moving around with the D-pad and then aiming with the right analog stick, and you could have 360 aiming while moving.
Yeah.
That would be crazy, but then how would you jump? Because you would have to map jumping to one of the shoulder buttons, so jumping and shooting would have to be shoulder buttons, but I guess first-person shooters do that too, so...
Yeah, all the time.
Oh my god. I want this game on Switch, it's so freaking good!
Yeah, I mean, you've got 4 shoulder buttons.
Right.
So you've got more than enough to be able to do. And also when you're moving around like with your right thumb on the right analog stick, it's not out of bounds to hit X with like, you know, the fucking upper phalange, tarsal, I forget what it is. The fucking longest bone of your thumb. You know, to kind of reach down and tap it with that. Like there's definitely ways to make it work.
Yeah, and they could make it work. They could make it work so much better than it does on the 3DS in every conceivable way. That is a wonderful game that is just trapped on that platform, and I feel that way about a bunch of 3DS games. And Nintendo Life did a video that really struck a chord with me, where they were just like, "Here's 10 3DS games since you've announced Miiverse or with Miitopia." For Switch.
That nobody wants.
This puts 3DS ports on the table, and you're running out of Wii U ports. Let's get some of these 3DS games on the TV. And Kid Icarus Uprising is like my number 1, and this Metroid game is my number 2.
Yeah, and like what's crazy about it is that they could take that game and legit, like, you could charge, and they would because it's Nintendo, but I wouldn't be mad at paying $50 for that.
I mean, Kid Icarus Uprising, I wouldn't be mad paying $60 for that. You up-res that thing, the amount of, like, that feels like a modern AAA game. It's long as hell. There's a ton of content. The online multiplayer was really good. It's got tons of voice acting, incredibly high production values, especially for a damn 3DS game. Like, you remaster that on Switch, and that's a $60 game. The Metroid one, that's a little harder to swallow, but they did, I mean, I'd pay it because I paid it for Link's Awakening, and, you know, Samus Returns is probably about as long as Link's Awakening is.
Yeah, I think like 50 would be a fair price on that.
50 would be a very fair price.
60 might be pushing it, but...
I'd pay the 60 because I'd pay just about anything to play Samus Returns in HD on my television, but...
Sure.
What are you gonna do? Anyway, so yeah, we're about halfway through Samus Returns, I think.
Nice.
And he has no idea where the story's going on this one, because you know he's seen the original Metroid, but he doesn't know where this is going. He knows the Queen Metroid's the last boss because he keeps asking me who the last boss is, and he's seen the spirit in Smash Brothers.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Like, these are the evolutions of the Metroid. I just showed him the instruction manual for Metroid 2. So he knows kind of what they look like, but he doesn't know what they do or what they look like in this game. And we just ran into our first... the alpha beta. We just ran into our first beta Metroid.
Okay.
So he was like, wait, what is that? I was like, that's the next kind of Metroid. And don't worry, son, there's 2 after this that we gotta get to yet. Wait till you see me fight an Omega Metroid. Those things are bastards.
Yes,
so he's loving this. He's like, he loves Kraid, he loves Ridley and Mother Brain. Like, he's been obsessed with listening to the music all the time, which makes the house feel really moody, which is kind of weird. But he's fallen in love with the Metroid universe. So I just got to get him on Kid Icarus and Mega Man and Castlevania, and then he's basically me. So,
well, there you go. You've done well.
I've done well because he's still into Mario. Speaking of Mario, we just finished got the last couple of shines in Bowser's Fury over the weekend. So that's done. 100% at Bowser's Fury. What a wonderful little game that was. And I did some of the Tetris 99 Bowser's Fury thing that they did. It was great, but I just didn't have enough time to win enough games or get high enough ranked games to unlock it. So, whatever. I tend to play Tetris 99 whenever they do these events, so that's fine. I don't need the Bowser's Fury skin to own forever. Let's see. In the mornings, here's a couple of important things. In the mornings, I've started listening to Banjo Radio, which is Banjo Guy Ollie's morning Twitch stream, which is amazing.
Nice.
He's got like one long video of all of his songs, and he just plays the whole thing, and he's there chatting. He's there like in the chat the whole time, and a bunch of other people are there that just are there listening to the music and talking about the music and whatever else is happening in the world. And it's a very nice way to start the day. I'm really enjoying it. And these two things happen because the stream's in the same order every day. So whenever he gets to the what's it, Cowsylvania, the cowbell version of the Vampire Killer on the little toy keyboard, everyone in the comment section just starts spamming these cow emojis for the whole song. It's ridiculous. It's hysterical. And the other thing that everyone freaks out for is when he plays Squared Roots, our theme song. He plays the video for it, and everyone freaks out on it. So when I jumped into the stream for the first time, Ollie was like, "It's Chris! Chris is here! This is the guy I wrote that song for!" I was like, "Oh no, this is awesome!" So I've been tuning in on that in the mornings, and it's pretty great. It's a really nice way to start the day, just listening to all of Ollie's music while he's there, which is pretty darn cool.
That is really cool. And, hopefully we got some new listeners from that. And this is their first episode where they got to hear a ton of technical difficulties and talk about, exploding barbed wire deathmatch right there at the beginning of the show.
Yes, indeed. He did call out the show a couple of times while I was there, and a couple of people said they'd give it a listen. So I'm, if you're here from the Banjo Radio stream, welcome. And I hope you're enjoying the show. Okay, two more things. We finally started Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Nice.
It is good.
Well, maybe. Is it nice? Yeah.
It is nice. John's playing this time. So he's player 3. And that's been going surprisingly well. He's starting to get the hang of it. It didn't start out spectacular. It started off just okay, this is fine. Oh, because we didn't really have much of a grasp on exactly how we should be playing it.
Right.
Because it's not just a beat 'em up. There's systems and stuff like that involved, and so we hit this wall where there was this one room with a bunch of prison inmates that we seemed like we should be able to take out no problem, and they kicked our butts a couple of times, and then I got the hang of dodging and stuff like that, and I'm really good. Wolverine's my guy. He's the one I'm sticking with. He works with the way I like playing this game, and we finally made it through there, and we got stumped on Mysterio, which I hated because it's freaking Mysterio. But he's got this purple fart death cloud surrounding him the whole time, so every time you go into attack, he just starts sucking all your health away from standing in that cloud, and we just couldn't get the hang of it. And we died on him a bunch of times, and was like, man, we're dying this early on. This isn't
looking good.
This isn't looking good. So I slept on it. I watched a video of somebody beating him, and I was like, this is exactly what I'm doing. What's the difference here?
Right.
And the next time we played it, we got through Mysterio, and then it just kind of clicked. And then that next day, we beat Doc Ock, and then we beat Green Goblin, and we finished the whole thing in the raft in the beginning, and now we're into Shadowland, and it's just working. Now it's not a 10 out of 10 game. The camera is fucking broken.
Ugh,
Oh my! Half the time when we're fighting Mysterio, like the computer player would die and sit in the corner, and the camera would focus on him.
oh,
And like Mysterio's off screen hitting us with all this stuff. We're fighting in the background, watching the computer player that we can't revive because we already revived him once. So like you can't revive him twice, and he's just sitting there. We can do nothing about it. We have no control over the camera. And it's just like, come on, game, please, just let me focus on the villain that's killing us. Please. I'm begging you.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, but we're kind of, it's an issue, but it's like, the game is stupid fun enough for it to not really be an issue. And we're all settling into our characters. Karen is really glommed onto Spider-Gwen. I love Wolverine, and John's really taken to Venom. He loves it when he does the move where he kind of, like in Marvel Capcom 2, where he turns into like the big like shark head Venom thing.
Yeah.
Swoops. That's one of his special moves, and he just loves it.
Nice.
He's really enjoying Venom. Just today, we unlocked Danny Rand and Daredevil, and
I would be all about Daredevil.
yeah, I tried him out tonight, and he's like, I was like, hey, this might be my guy, except I'm still Wolverine. I went back to Wolverine after playing a stage with Daredevil just because it was really funny. We went to this room and there were all these hand ninjas doing a bunch of shit, and I was like, how much you want to bet I'm going to have to beat up Elektra? And then we got into there. I was like, well, I'm glad I'm Matt Murdock. Let's beat the crap out of Elektra. And so we did, and it was fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, Daredevil's great. He's really cool. I still like Wolverine, especially because my Wolverine is like a level or two ahead of him.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of used to the way he works, but Daredevil's really good. He might be my secondary if I just want to switch things up, but it's got a pretty good roster so far. Like it started off very I guess just kind of it starts off Guardians, like 100% Guardians of the Galaxy. Like okay, and they're very much these weird amalgamations of the movie and the comics. So like Rocket sounds very movie Rocket and acts very movie Rocket, whereas Quill acts kind of like movie Quill, but a little more serious and looks comic book Quill. Like he does not look like Chris Pratt at all.
That's weird.
And Gamora is totally comic book Gamora. So like she's totally doesn't speak like Zoe Saldana or anything, just comic book Gamora. Okay. And then they wind up getting teleported to the raft, and we got to break out of the raft, and that's where we meet characters like Spider-Man and whatnot. We get in a fight with Venom, and then he joins the team. And then like before you fight Mysterio, you have to fight Spider-Gwen, Miss Marvel, and Miles Morales, who have been like teleported in from another dimension or whatever. And they were
from the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, and Mysterio made them see you guys as supervillains, so they were beating you up, and you're like, guys, we're on the same team. And then you get to unlock all three of those, and Karen loves Spider-Gwen.
Nice.
And then after that, you finish taking it, like Green Goblin's got the Time Stone, so you're trying to find him, and then you beat him up, and then you get out of the raft and move on to Shadowland. So that's where we met Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, who is unfortunately not playable. Karen's super pissed that you can't play as Jessica Jones, because you can play as the other defenders. You get Daredevil and Danny and Iron Fist and Luke Cage, but you don't get to play as Jessica Jones.
That's
kind of a bummer. But
speaking
so far,
of,
we're liking it.
Go ahead. Yeah, finish up.
That was pretty much it. We're liking it. It is a solid game so far. It is the writing is okay. It's very comic booky. The voice acting, like, you know, the guy who's playing Iron Man sounds a lot like Robert Downey Jr. It's very much Samuel L. Jackson sound alike, but it's very much comic books, because like I said, I'm Wolverine, and we're all wearing our comic book costumes and whatnot. It is a good time, and we're all enjoying ourselves.
That's awesome. I forgot to mention, I don't think I mentioned it last week on the show. I might have. One of the upgrades you can get for Miles Morales Spider-Man, because you can upgrade his visor, right? Like his spider eyes, I guess.
Uh-huh.
One of the upgrades that you can put in there makes Miles Morales move and fight in the same sort of stop and go style that he does in the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
The Spider-Verse, yeah, that's crazy
my God,
cool.
It's so cool. Like everything else is moving normal, and you're kind of in that weird Spider-Verse kind of motion, and you can put on the Spider-Verse costume, and like you can put another thing on there where like when you hit guys, Batman sound effects pop up, like bam and pow and shit. It's so cool. It is so cool.
Nice.
Anyway.
All right, the last thing I want to talk about is I was very excited to jump into this one. I have been assigned reviewing Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection.
Nice.
So I get to do a review for Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection for Nintendo Force. I've started playing it, and
it's super easy, right?
Just super easy, barely an inconvenience. Been watching a lot of that guy lately, but I don't know why. It just showed back up on my YouTube. It's like, man, these pitch meeting videos are hilarious. No, it's I've got a couple of issues with it, but the visuals are not it. The visuals are amazing. Any slight qualms I had with the visuals before playing it are out the window. This whole storybook thing they've got going on is ridiculously cool looking. It is awesome. I just love the way this game looks. My biggest issue with it so far is the way they handle death. They almost nailed it.
Okay.
Like this is a big step forward from older games. Not necessarily like I wanted some little bit more of a middle ground with like they don't do lives anymore like they did with Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins.
Okay.
So but they also don't do the thing where you just kind of revive right on the spot. You die and you go back to a checkpoint. You can do it as many times as you want, but
okay.
It's a little bit too choppy. It's like they haven't played more modern games that where you die like this, like Super Meat Boy or Runner or Celeste or something like that, where death is this instantaneous and here you go.
Right.
So I keep running into this problem where this game's gorgeous. The music is awesome, and then I die, and it's like, here's your menu of options. Game goes black, comes back, pick you up, and start again. And sometimes, a round will last you like 10 seconds, and you're right back there again, and you're going through that menu every single time.
That's weird. Yeah,
it is weird, and it is
a weird
snappy. Choice. I'll give it that. Like, as far as it being the menu, it is snappy, but it's too much. It's still too much of a stop because they give you different options depending on how many times you're dying, which is great. There needs to be a better way of handling it where it only shows, like in Sayonara Wild Hearts, they'll give you the option to skip a section if you die enough times, but every time before that, it's stop right back where you came from that fast.
Right.
And a game that's designed for you to die this often because it's unfair. It's unfair. Even by this game is stupid mean. And
I saw a Kotaku headline today that said I finally finished the first level of Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, and I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, because they give you the option to keep lowering the difficulty while you're playing. And at first I said, you know what, I'm just going to let's jump in on normal difficulty, see where it gets me. And then I died a bunch of times. Like, you know what? I've got no pride. Let's go all the way down. Let's go as down as we can, just so that I can see everything and learn it. And then I'll gradually build up the
sure.
Because a lot of it is just cheap memorization stuff, which I'm of two minds about, right? On one hand, that's kind of the DNA of this game.
Yeah, that's old school Ghosts and Goblins.
But on the other hand, Super Ghouls and Ghosts took the home console flavoring in a different direction. Super Ghouls and Ghosts was insanely difficult, but it was rarely unfair. There was, once you play the game, you can kind of see it like, okay, this is going to happen, and I understand why I can see where the danger is. Let's see if I can react fast enough to see to what it's going to do. Right. Whereas this game is designed like an arcade game. Like, all of a sudden, the dragon you're riding is just going to turn around. And like, if you don't know that's happening, you're dead. Now you've got to do that whole section over, but now you know the dragon's going to turn around there.
Right.
So it's I'm really of two minds on it, and I've probably talked too much about it considering we're reviewing it, but whatever. It's I don't know where I'm going to land on it.
Anymore? Ugh.
I've looked at I think I loaded up a playthrough to see like how far into the game I am, and it looks like I'm somewhere around or just past the halfway point. And so I'm just going to keep plugging away at it, see where it goes, but so far it has been impressive. I'm not sure about the $30 price tag unless you're really into this kind of thing, because it's demoralizing. It's and
$30 to be made fun of is, I mean, some people are into it, which is great.
The game's not demoralizing in that way. The game does not say like, oh, to be a real hero, you got to play it on hard ass difficulty. Like, no baby mode stuff here. The game's like you die on this dragon boss, and he's like, you almost had it. Try again. Like the game's cheering you on. It wants you to finish it. They're very nice about it, but at the same time,
very, very nice about it.
It's very nice about being a complete bastard. But I don't know. It's a mixed bag, and that price tag. The price tag is a lot given what it is, and
$30 for an arcade game is a steep ask.
Yeah, but then again, like the amount of content that's in there, like that's why I'm really not sure where to land on it yet, because it seems like a lot right now. But then I think like, well, remember when Super Ghouls and Ghosts was ported to Game Boy Advance? That was $30, and that was the right price. And this is about that same kind of content, if not better. So,
but we've come so far since then.
We have,
and that's kind of the thing. Like, what was a $30 game is now a $15 game.
I definitely wouldn't go that far. I feel like 25 is probably where this game would have been like felt really right.
Yeah.
And like 30 for a physical edition. But
pricing's really hard, man.
It really is. And I understand that it's got like a certain pedigree to it because it's, it's a Capcom game, kind of like like Mega Man 11 was. Some people thought that was more expensive than it should have been, but I don't know. This is a weird game, but if you like the Ghosts and Goblins franchise and you have an affinity for being punished, then
then this is for you. This
might be for you. I don't know. It's been a very memorable time, and Ellie calls it the underwear game.
Well, there you go.
I don't remember if this happened in the PSP one, in Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, because it's been years since I played it. I don't think my PSP works anymore. My battery exploded. That's right. My battery for my PSP doesn't work, and I haven't replaced it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work then. You kind of need that.
Yeah, it doesn't even turn on. Even if you plug it in, there's no battery. It's not, that power isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't remember if you could lose bits of your armor, but in this game, you can take multiple hits and you'll use pieces of your armor instead of just one and done.
Well, that's nice.
Cool. Yeah. It makes up for that by being insanely difficult. It's not like that's making it more easy. It's just making it a little more fair. So,
yeah, I am interested in it. I'm not interested at $30, but
yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm of two minds of it. When it comes to pricing, it's like I feel like devaluing your properties is a thing, and I know everyone's on the opposite end of that spectrum, like the whole Nintendo charging $60 for their releases and whatnot. I understand that. I'm fully on board with that. I think that Sony and Microsoft dropping their games down to $20 within a year is it devalues the properties a lot. But podcast for another podcast.
Yeah, because we've got actual important things to talk about now.
Damn it. All right. We are going to take ourselves a quick break, but before you start hitting fast forward, Dan and I are going to jump in the Wayback Machine. We're going to try something different this week. We're going to be reading the commercials live like we used to in the before times. We're going to give this a go and see if I can keep up on writing scripts week after week and see if I don't burn myself out again. This is going to be stupid. So we'll be a little rusty, but let's give it a go. You are listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about Puzzle and Dragons, baby.
That's right.
Stick around.
I've been waiting.
And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, remember the weekend where...
Nailed it.
Done and done. Next, first up, remember the Weekend Rental podcast? Sure you do. We just did a crossover episode with those fine gentlemen a few weeks ago. On their latest episode, they spend a little quality time summarizing their thoughts on the latest Nintendo Direct and whether it lived up to their lofty expectations. Regale us with tales of how the human body can provide some truly terrifying times and provide some valuable parenting advice in regards to the wacky world of Fortnite. Don't miss Weekend Rental episode 94, The Gamers Get Direct.
Next, over on the official Stone Age Gamer YouTube channel, I have a new show. Every couple of weeks or so, I go into my closet and pull out some random bits of wackiness to discuss in what I'm cleverly calling Stone Age Gaming. If you've been around for a while, you you might remember a similar show called Into the Vault. This is pretty much the same thing, except now I have even more weird stuff and way less hair. On my latest episode, I discussed the Pac-Man telephone, gift from my friend Chris that's so intensely strange that I never get tired of talking about it. Or on it! Be sure to check out... These are the jokes you missed, right?
I missed these.
Be sure to check out Stone Age Gaming, the Pac-Man telephone, on the Stone Age Gamer YouTube page.
Finally, Chris. Dean, the Vest Lord DeFalco, used to be a regular host on this show. And in case you hadn't heard, now he's a regular host of his very own Twitch channel where he plays all sorts of video games for your entertainment. Last week, he began his latest quest, which might just be his most difficult yet, trying to take down Chris's Super Mario Maker 2 world. As someone who is self-proclaimed as being terrible at Mario games, it's been quite an adventure so far, and the worst is yet to come. Tune in to Twitch TV /Vest_Lord every weeknight at 8 p.m. or follow to get notified when he goes live for more attempts at Mario Maker 2.
For all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on Geekade.com.
Fucking nailed it.
That felt good.
One take, done.
One and done.
No issues. No issues whatsoever.
All right, we are back. Since the dawn of time, Dan has been playing a game called Puzzle and Dragons.
Really has.
It's been 867,000 consecutive days.
That's right. Your birthday, 2015.
That's right. And we have decided that after we couldn't think of an episode topic, that it was finally time for me to take the plunge and download Puzzle and Dragons, and then we would talk about it on the show. I played it. I missed a day. Because I suck. I missed a day.
Dare you?
It's like my third day, and just the next day I woke up, I was like, shit, I didn't play this yesterday. Son of a bitch.
Did you play today?
I did.
Did you? All right.
Yeah. To be fair, I missed a day pretty early on in Animal Crossing as well, so that's not...
That's fair.
That's not
right.
to say that that's a reflection that the game is a bad reflection on the game. It's just a bad reflection on me.
I am just a terrible goose.
I am just shit. So I jumped into the game and I went in blind. I mean, besides all the stuff that Dan's talked about on the show over the years, I don't really understand it. So it was basically like going in blind.
Yeah, like, I mean, like talking about like, oh, this card just got like 7 VDPs added to it. You're like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
I ride a bicycle.
I love that shit. So I started playing, and well, it's been an experience. I I don't hate it. I don't think this is going to become an obsession for me.
Sure.
I can tell you that for free. I am. So you had told me, I jumped in, and the first thing I did was, hey, look at all these special things. These are limited time only. You should totally do these. So I went into one of them, and I was just getting demolished. So I asked for some, just murdered. I don't know, it was like a Valentine's Day quest. It's like, sure, let's do it. Let's dance, right? I'm into this. I got the basics. I did the tutorial. They showed me how to match colors and whatnot. See, it's like, the grid of orbs.
Tutorial.
You move some orbs around, you get 3 orbs in a row, they explode. It's a match 3 thing. Okay. That's cool. And then I got to this one boss, and I just kept using, what were my tokens? What are they called?
Stones.
Because it's like, cost 1 stone to try again. It's like, I'm going to get this guy. I'm just going to brute force my way through this. I can do it. I'm going to do it. This guy's
got enough
down.
stones.
Yeah.
Because they started you off with like, what, 100 and something?
Something like that. It's some stupid number of stones or whatever. And there was only 1 to try again. So I did. And I kept doing it. I eventually, pounded my way through it, and I beat him. And then you were like, all right, you got to do the story mode. That's what you need to do, is the story mode. So I went to do the story mode, and it was not available to me.
Oh, because you weren't like level 40 or whatever.
Yeah, I had to do normal mode stuff first. So I got into normal mode, and this is where it started to finally click with me. Like, you had said a bunch of stuff, like, you got to do this thing and, like, treat it like an RPG. It's like, yeah, I know you got to treat it like an RPG, but it's not connecting with me. So here are the hurdles I needed to get over first. I am a big fan of Paddled Upon.
Right.
And this works in one very intrinsically different way, is that I can drag something from anywhere on the playfield and put it wherever I want for 1 move. Right. I'm used to it being like, I need to move something right next to it. I have to shift something here to get it there, not pull from everywhere. And the lack of a time limit was something I needed to wrap my head around. So I'm like, I got to do this quick. I got to get in here. I got to do this quick. And it's telling me up top, like, these 3 monsters, like, this guy's going to go in 3 turns. So you don't have to just drop 3 in a row. You have 3 turns to plan something.
Right.
And that didn't click with me because it's so opposite of the way I play puzzle games, right? I'm used to rapid succession puzzle games like Dr. Mario or Paddled Upon, that it's constantly moving, right? So to stop and take time to plan, like I'm playing a turn-based RPG, combined with that thought process, really
solving that puzzle.
It took me a huge amount of time to really wrap my head around that concept. Once I did, it clicked a lot better for me, and I was able to, granted, these matches were like stupid easy, and after doing a couple of those Valentine's matches, I had these more powerful things, right? I wasn't more powerful, but I had these monsters that make it so pretty much everything I do, I'm 1-hit killing everything in front of me.
Yeah, like when you started, so right now what they had a super godfest going on, which for 10 stones, basically any monster that came out of that machine could get you through all the normal dungeons without anybody else on the team. Like, that's how far the power creep has come, because those dungeons are 10 years old at this point, and when you're pulling those cards, the new cards that you're starting with are like current cards. So in any sort of game like that, the stuff is obviously worlds stronger now.
And I'm not even sure I'm using any of those anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I really when you get into this bit where it's like you got all these monsters and they're all at different levels, like I've got 2 that are at level max. Does that mean I should get rid of them?
No, God, no. Depending on what they are.
Well, because all right, so what is it? My team leader. Let's take a look here. How do I do that? Monster.
Yeah, the last one I saw you using was Odin. Blue Odin. That's what popped up on my friend list when it was
that's my team leader right now, is Blue Odin at a level max.
Yeah.
So is that a good thing?
Yes, he can now be evolved into his next stage.
How do I do that? Because I was trying to enhance the purple dude that was giving me a huge problem, right? This guy was a pain in the ass. He's like this metal thing. I couldn't do anything that would take more than one hit away from him, except for that one special move that was, this is only going to take 7,777 points away from whoever it is.
Yeah,
so I just brute forced my way through it.
Or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. So how do I do that? How do I make fusion power up? Evolution, ultimate evolution?
Evolution, yep, that's the one.
All right, so we're going to do this live right here. How the hell do I do this?
So when you click on, you should record your screen and upload the video with the podcast. But yeah, like this is one of the things that I realize now, like trying to talk to people and be like, no, this is like a really good game. But it's a 10-year-old game at this point with a lot of systems and things that are happening. And the tutorial is still 10 years old. So it's like, that doesn't really help.
I mean, it did.
All.
The tutorial really did help. It helped me get to where this game probably was 10 years ago. And now there's more stuff on top of it, because trying to learn all this at once is insane. And it's one of the reasons I haven't played a lot of JRPGs, like modern ones like Xenoblade, because it feels like I'm learning systems on top of systems on top of systems, and I need to really get the basics down. So starting small and working my way up is very important. Right now, this thing's telling me I need to purchase a bunch of stuff to level this guy up.
So yeah, if you do not have the Evo materials that you need, like an RPG, right, of like combining into the next spell or the things that you need, you can either purchase them or they come out of drops in daily dungeons and stuff. So right now, like whatever the mundane dungeon is, you can get a bunch of the little ghost-looking guys and then that metal dude who was kicking your ass last week. But you need different ones from that. So you with monster points, which you might have some, you might have none right now. I don't know.
How do I tell? There's stats everywhere.
Yeah, there's stuff all
there are
over the
numbers
screen.
and words and flashing things. There's stuff everywhere. I don't know what any of it means.
So when you click on the purchase, it'll tell you whether or not you can do it. You can also click on the little shop button at the bottom, and it'll bring up your it'll bring up a menu.
Points.
Okay, so yeah, you can't buy anything yet.
Okay,
so you would have to clear those dungeons, or the egg machine right now, the PAL egg machine, which is the one at the very top with the green dragon, that has Evo material in it right now. So if you have any PAL points that you can, and you get those from like playing with friends and whatnot, if you have any of those, it'll have a number on top of that egg. You can roll that many times, and maybe you will get the stuff that you need to Evo your monsters.
Okay, so I could do 9 pulls at once for 4,500 PAL points.
Yep.
I have 4,935 PAL points.
Do it. Live the dream.
It's okay to just dump all my PAL points like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go. 9 eggs. Let's see what happens. Yep. I don't know if this is creepy or not. This little dinosaur thing that, stomach opens up and eggs start popping out.
It's kind of cute.
It's kind of cute, but it's also somewhat unnerving. All right, let's see. A gold thing exploded. I got a super rare tiki mask from Crash Bandicoot. The Mystic Mask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you need one of those for Odin, depending on the color you got.
This one's just rare. This is like a demon mask. That thing's hideous looking. What's this called? Where is its name? Violet Demon Mask. Oh, wow, I nailed it.
You did nail it.
All right, this is another star egg. What do we got here? It's a red. This is the same mask, but red. What do you call this one? Crimson Demon Mask. Okay, fine. Crimson. Be all special like that. Super rare. Oh, so these are like all masks? Is that what's happening right now?
Some of them are. There'll be doublets and mythlets and all types of just...
well, that thing's adorable.
RPG bullshit.
This is a super rare dub mythlet. He's so cute. He's like a ghost.
Little ghosty looking guy.
Butterfly bow tie on, and he's holding 2 shiny rainbow boulders. Hey, it's the same dude. He's holding 2 yellow orbs. That's kind of neat. There's a red one. And whoa, very rare. Wait, what's very rare as opposed to ultra? What's the hierarchy of rareness?
Diamond is the rarest.
So
That's
diamond, it'll say diamond rare.
No,
So it's like-
the diamond eggs that pop out, or crystal eggs.
Because it's got like it's sometimes it'll say very rare, or sometimes it'll say ultra rare. Like what's better, very or ultra?
It's neither. It depends.
Okay. Well, this guy's a keeper of light.
Yeah. That's the those are the
Seems like he
Tuesday
keeps them
dungeons.
All right, so that was fun. I got 9 things.
And none of them will allow you to Evo Odin. And so that's kind of the point of like what the early game is, right? Of trying to, okay, I need to get this stuff to make my cards stronger so that I can go tackle harder content. Right? So, and it was kind of intentionally designed because it's a mobile game. Right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they got to make their money somehow because it was free.
Right.
Also,
So-
like this other guy, what was Awoken Ra? I'm almost there. I only need one thing to evolve this guy. It's the purple cute little ghosty that's holding the purple ball.
Right. And you can get those in today's dungeon. The Monday dungeon drops those mythlets,
Okay.
which are the ones that you need. So you need the doublet is that one. So you need a dub amulet for that one. And I don't know that off the top of my head. I am looking it up on my phone right now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not
what
that
would be
into
the
it.
purpose of de-evolution, like outside of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
So that really came into play a couple of years ago when they started giving different evolutions to older cards, because you have a different path that you can take them down. And it's like, all right, well, I had this card at this level, but I want to take it down a different path now. So I need to de-evolve it first and then move it to this other thing.
That's
So,
interesting.
which is, yeah.
All right, so what you said, a Monday dungeon. What the hell's a Monday dungeon?
So it just, if you look under special dungeons,
Special?
it will say, like right now,
Oh,
you've got
Monday dungeon. How
the
cute.
experience of a lifetimes and the Spring Killer Challenge and a bunch of stuff, the Monogatari, which is the collab that started today. And then down there, you have the Monday dungeon. And in the Monday dungeon, that is where you can get those ghost-looking things to Evo your cards, right? And if you need a purple one, you play until you get the purple drop. Or if you need the blue one, you play until you get the blue drop or whatever.
All right, so the top one is grayed out. Why is that?
Because you have to, either you don't have enough stamina or you have to beat the first one.
Oh, I have
First.
27 stamina, and this one requires 50. All right, so I can do this 25 stamina one.
You can.
I'm gonna use you now. When I'm choosing a friend, I've been choosing you because
Hold on.
oh, I'm holding on.
As well you should. What I was going to say, let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do, and this is riveting podcasting, we are going to do this dungeon together.
Oh, okay.
I'm going
All right,
to I'm starting my screen recording, and I'm going to tell you what to do. So
Okay.
So we're gonna do the top one, the Iron Strength Plaza Legend. Okay.
Do I have to go into
So you
multiplayer
are
mode
go-
to do this?
Yep, you're gonna go in 2-player multiplayer mode, and you're gonna type in this room ID.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, 6965
Uh-huh.
9035.
Uh-huh. Okay. Search.
All right, and then and then you should pop up. There you are. Look at
all
you.
right.
All right, so whenever you're ready, you hit ready, and we'll go ahead and just blast our way through this. Now, what's going to happen is that
Let me turn
I'm
my
going to
sound
record
on.
this.
Oh,
I'm
so
going to
we're
record this.
We take turns. Wow,
Yep,
these
we
little
take
orbs
turns.
look all different. Yours look like these look like playing cards now. What's up with that?
I have orb skins on here, which you can get from different collabs and different bundles and stuff.
Okay, you need to explain to me what just happened. You just
Yeah,
moved like a whole bunch of stuff around.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You're supposed to combo the board. It's not a match 3.
It's why the tutorial is garbage.
So I can just hold on to one thing and keep pushing stuff around?
For as long as you have time. Yeah.
What? Okay, so...
Yeah.
So if I
So now you can solve it like an entire puzzle.
Oh, and then it... Oh, I have time.
You ran out of... Yeah, you ran out of time.
I didn't realize that was timed. Okay.
I have
right.
9 seconds, so in my 9 seconds, I can, move stuff around as I.
Yeah, I don't really get. Oh my god! Yeah, that's way better than what I've been doing.
Yeah, right. Once you start doing that, and you start evoing your cards
So,
and
how do I
getting stronger.
I don't really understand the logic on how to make things move. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to make them go where I want them to go by swooshing my hand around like that.
So if you look at the bottom row right here, and this is actually good that we're recording the video and I will upload this. If you look at this bottom orb, I'm grabbing this purple orb down here.
Okay.
I'm going to push it up to drag the yellow down. And then I'm going to start moving it around to just kind of push and pull the orbs where I want them to be. So I'll push that up, move those over. And there you go.
Okay, this is weird.
It's weird that you can see it moving. Like every time I would play with
I'm
Matt
just trying
Much,
to follow the logic of it.
What are you doing?
That was whoa, look at this thing. This thing's crazy. This thing's got all kinds of armor. All right, it's my turn. I want to do... I like those blues. You want to do a whole vertical line, right? Isn't that like a good thing, doing a vertical line?
You can do... Right now, your leader gives 2.5 attack for water and god type, and then my leader gives 3 times attack and 2 combos when fire and water attack. So if you just match fire and water, you'll get at least 4 combos out of it.
Okay.
Which is, again, where the RPG
so it doesn't
kind
start
of thing comes
counting,
in. Like, now you're building on leader skills.
It doesn't start counting the time until I start moving, right?
Right. In multiplayer, you have 3 minutes to make up your mind and start moving.
All right. You do... Get in there. Get in there. Oh, I tried.
That's all right.
I'm still trying. I'm trying... what I'm losing on right now is the logic behind where things are going to move when I move my finger around, because that's where I don't have a grasp on how that works yet.
Yeah, you'll get it. So I'm just going to move in squares a little slowly so that you can see what is happening.
Okay, so you lined up those 3, and now you lined up those guys.
And now I'm going to drop that one in there, and then other things are dropping down, and then that is dead. Wow. Mostly because this leader that I have right here is one of the top leads in the game right now. So we could do this just Blue Odin and just Cena and make it work that way.
All right, I got those green ones there. I got those pink ones. All right, I did 2 things. Right, I'm feeling good. I did like a shred of damage to that thing. That was great.
And see, what'll happen is that you'll start playing and be like, all right, no. I get this now. I get it. I understand. I have to do better. I have to match. I have to solve because each board is, solvable to an extent.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I get it. Ooh, look at this guy.
That's cool. Where the obsession started from for me with this game of no, I have to get better at solving this puzzle because this is not just a match 3. And it was actually Tiff that showed that to me because she downloaded this around the same time that I did. And it was like, oh, I can move, this isn't just a match 3. This is move around and solve the entire puzzle. So once I started figuring that out, it was like, oh, okay, this is awesome.
Whoa, that just made swords appear.
So that should be it for that, and then dead.
Well, thank goodness, because I'm almost dead.
Yes. So when you do multiplayer, like you share the same hit bar and you share the same skills and stuff, which is pretty cool. All right, so there you go. So I'm gonna save this video and upload it so that people have an idea of what the hell we were talking about as we're going through this.
It's really something else. I'm really not sure this is for me. Like that whole solving the whole screen thing is like, that just became really stressful. Like when it's, I'm looking at the match 3 thing, and that's making more sense to me, right? Because I'm like, all right, you got a couple of turns, move some things around, and figure out how you can get from here to here in this many moves. But then, like, now I'm looking at it like this whole different thing, and it kind of stresses me out.
It is a little like there were plenty of times. So the first time that I cleared one of the hardest dungeons, the first arena, which is now something that I can like walk through in my sleep, you know? It's like, it's not a thing at all. But like, I was stressed the fuck out. Like my hands were shaking and like, but like in a good way, you know, like in a way that I used to get playing video games, because it really is just, I have to build a specific team to take on this particular challenge, right? So the RPG aspect of it, of I'm going up against Emerald Weapon, I'm going up against Sephiroth, Kefka, you know, like whatever. I need to have my skills and the team set up the way that I want to. But then there's also that added layer of, I'm not just hitting a button. In order to attack, I have to solve this puzzle to do it. And I got to work with what the board, you know, given what I can manipulate on the board. So if I can add an orb changer, or I can do this, that, or the other thing, or whatever.
Right. So you have these different, like some characters will be like, okay, so now we're going to turn all these green ones into purple ones, and now you can do some crazy purple stuff. Right.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, that was an eye-opener. That was a...
It's a very, very deep game.
I am very curious now what I would make of the Mario one that they put on 3DS.
I know nothing of it other than that it existed.
Because I feel like if they were good, if they're doing a Mario flavored one, it's probably going to be designed to be a little more accessible.
I think so.
That would be my guess. I'd be very curious to find out what I make of that. I'm also very curious why they've never put that one on mobile.
Yeah, I think that had something to do with Nintendo. There was something that came out about it, like they interviewed the producer of Puzzle and Dragons, Daisuke Yamamoto, and he had said something to the effect of it had to do with licensing and whatnot to make it a mobile game, because it's different departments and different people have to get cuts of money and whatever. It's you know, it's part of the thing. So like, I have my Japanese account and I have an American account, and in the Japanese server, there are collabs that they have with other properties that don't come to North America. Like North America never got the Disney collab that happened because it was a collab with Japanese Disney. North America never got, we haven't gotten Demon Slayer, which is the latest big one that we missed. We did not get My Hero Academia. And we did not get Dragon Ball Z when they did that like 6 or 7 years ago. And that only ran once in Japan because apparently the licensing was absurdly expensive and they just didn't make enough money off of it, which, you know, makes sense or whatever. You know, but then right now we have this collab with Monogatari, which I've never heard of. I don't know how popular it is in the United States, but it's this weird anime that, you know, I'm sure is going to get somebody interested in playing this game. You know, like the Street Fighter collab or like the Marvel collab would. Because I started playing this. I saw an issue of a DC comic book. And in the back of the comic, they had the Superman logo, so just the S, right, the shield, made out entirely of red and yellow orbs. Because the DC collab was starting in Puzzle and Dragons, and I was sitting around in the summer, and I was bored, and I was like, let me check this out, you know? I was reading a lot of DC comics at the time, and I was like, oh, whatever, I'll fucking check this out. And that was June 15th of 2015, and here we are on March 8th of 2021, and I haven't missed a day, right? Which is, I mean, I'm sure I have missed a day here or there early on, but it's just become something of like, man, I love solving these puzzles. It's just like this kind of daily routine of going through and solving the puzzles, right?
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal game, man. It's fucking great.
The more I see it, the more I'm glad we did this, because I definitely appreciate it a lot more. And the fact that so what we were just doing seemed like such a different animal from, like, I've been playing it in an entirely different way than what we just did. But for the level that I'm at, what I was doing was working. You know what I mean? So I wonder if I stick with it, would it eventually just evolve into me doing that, or is it just going to start? I'm just going to hit a wall where it's going to kick my ass until I can start thinking about it like that way. Because I run into this problem with modern puzzle games as well, where my mind works a certain way. There are certain things that I can see when I'm doing these kinds of things. There are just certain moves that I can see, and people that can see different moves than me are the ones that can beat me. Like in Dr. Mario, your average person in Dr. Mario, I'm probably going to beat. But if they can see more horizontal moves than I can, then I'm toast. It's like too many games. I was playing Tetris against John Numbers, and I was keeping pace with him until he started doing T-spins. I can't see them. I've been trying for years to train myself to see T-spins. I can't see them when I'm placing blocks. My mind just won't make that connection on how to set something like that up. And Puyo Puyo Tetris, for example, rewards T-spins like a lot. You want to do serious damage to your opponent, you do T-spins. Same thing happens in Tetris 99 to an extent. But since I can't see that, I have to just hammer away at what I can do to the best of my ability, which is pretty darn good. But since they added that extra layer, I can't match it. Like in New Tetris, when they did the whole blocks instead of just straight lines, when you would put 4 in a row, I was able to train myself to see that. But so what we just did, I don't know that I can train myself to see that. I'm looking at what you're doing, and it's not connecting with me. Like, I can't see the board this way. I can see these lines here. I can see these colors, and I can see to connect them, but I can't see how to get from point A to point B. And I wonder if I would be able to eventually do that.
I certainly couldn't when I first started playing this. But there does come a point in the game where, as you're taking on harder and harder content, like some of the enemies will put up a combo shield. And in order to do any damage, you have to hit 7 combos, or you have to hit, 6 combos. So you start to train yourself, and it really just becomes, I solve the board basically the same way every time. I start in the bottom, and I make 4 horizontal rows in the bottom, the bottom of the board, because it's a 6 by 5 board. So you got 30 orbs to work with. So I'll make, 4 matches at the bottom, 4 horizontal matches, and then at the top of the screen, the top half of the board, I'll match vertically. Because as I'm moving the stuff around at the bottom, the stuff up top is getting pushed up. And I'm a lot like you in that respect, where there are people in this game that can see things that I just don't see. And I'm really good at this game. Like, I'm not the best at this game, but I am very good at Puzzle and Dragons. I should be after playing it for this long. But when the ranking dungeons come out, because there's no PvP in this game, right? It's PvE. It's all player versus enemy, or co-op. Players versus enemy. The only PvP thing that really exists is the ranking dungeon. But even those dungeons are just your score against another player's score. And the people that can score highly in those and get like the crowns and stuff for being in the top 1% of 1% are the people who can do cascades, where they can move an orb just a couple of different spaces, and the board will just fall into a way where it erases most of the board. I cannot do it. I've never been able to do it. I can't see the board that way. I have to basically brute force my way through this. And I've gotten really good at that. And usually when these ranking dungeons come out, I will score within the top, 7 to 10% of players that play these dungeons. I just can't get higher than that because I can't do the cascades as quickly. It's just not a thing I can do. Ultimately, that doesn't ruin my enjoyment of the game because I don't play it for the ranking dungeons. I enjoy the puzzle solving. I enjoy the team building. I love the fact that this really is a combination of puzzle games and like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and like collectible card games. So I love all that stuff, and I've got it all here in this one particular app where I get to use my brain and think. Like this isn't a dumb game that I just turn on and like, ooh, look, pretty colors. There's a lot of thinking and solving involved in this.
This is to you what Picross is to me.
Yeah,
like
very similar.
Because Picross is more my speed. I'm looking at something like this, and I just don't know what to make of what just happened. I really don't know what to make of what I just saw you do, because it's literally a completely different game than I thought it was, and I don't know what to make of it. I really don't know if I'm going to turn it on tomorrow. It's.
I think you should. I think you should keep trying it, because one of the things that I found about this is that once you start it, there's a very naturally rewarding. It's one of the few video games that I've played. Like ultimately, to tie this into like the idea of what video games are, it's one of the very few video games that I've played where the repetition leads to this very natural, rewarding progression of like, I can see myself getting better, because this is what it is. It is solving this board. It's not learning this particular thing. And now I've got there are new enemies and there's mechanics and stuff that come later. But at the core of it, I'm not relearning a level design every time. I am solving this particular puzzle. And as I'm getting quicker, as I'm doing all of these different things. And you got to learn all the systems and the Evo cards, and then you have all their awoken skills and all this other shit that you learn as you go through it. It ultimately becomes easier because your leaders have more time to match things. And I have, like I was saying earlier, Guile just got a buff in Japan for his new evolution. So if you and a friend leader both have Guile, right from the get-go, you have 10 seconds to match orbs for the board. That's before you factor in any awakenings and any. Like on my Guile team, I have like 16 seconds to match that entire board, which doesn't sound like a whole lot of time. But if you consider when you first start out, you have like 5, you know what I mean? Like you have 5 or 6. When you get 16 seconds to solve a whole board, it feels like a fucking eternity. So like I can do these things now. And as you progress through the game, it gets so much better and so much more fun. And then you learn the different styles of matching, right? There are some leaders where in order to fit their leader skill, you have to match a whole row. So you have to match 6 of the same color. Other leaders where you have to match 5 orbs in an L shape in order to get their leader skill activated. There are other ones where you have to match 5 orbs in a cross shape, right? And like you find these different ways that you like to play the game. I like to play what we just did, which is basically just straight combos. As much of the board as I can combo, having to hit like you have to hit red and blue or you have to hit green and light or whatever. That is the way that I prefer to play the game. But it's so versatile, and what they've done a really incredible job at over these last 10 years is making each and every way that people like to play this game viable to make it all the way through the game. Like the leader that I use, Cena, is a combo leader. And right now, the hardest dungeon in the game is called Alt Illusory Worlds of Carnage. All right, which is a fucking stupid name, but whatever.
This is Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, basically, right? And she can clear that dungeon. But she needs to basically combo the entire board. Now, in Japan, Captain Marvel came out. And Captain Marvel needs 2 light matches. And if you match 2 light combos, each Captain Marvel will give 3 extra combos. So right away, you've already got 7 combos for matching 2 things. And that basically annihilates everything in the game because power creep, right? It just gets easier. So you can get to a level where you're playing that style of leader. Some people really like crosses. Some people really like rows. Some people really like the L style. Like, it all works. And it's incredible to me that they have been able to keep this game viable for so many different people for fucking 10 years. That's absurd, right? We're going into year 10 now. That's crazy.
I don't disagree. That is...
It's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. I do really hope that you stick with it. Like, I do think, I feel like you will enjoy it. Maybe not to the level that I do, but I do feel like it is something where you'll be like, fuck you, I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to match these goddamn orbs.
Well, I think
and then it just becomes so fun.
I see, therein lies a little bit of my problem with it. And the reason I missed a day was because I have this routine now. And, like, I had to cut out a part of my routine to make time to play this game every day.
Sure.
And that's like, my days are pretty full as is. And part of that time that I had to cut into was like the turn my brain off time. And it became turn your brain on time. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing for my mental health. I don't know. I'm gonna see where this goes. So I'm not playing Animal Crossing daily. I'm really down to like once a week now. I've filled the Critterpedia. All that's left is checking to look for. Oh my god! I forgot about a whole other thing that happened to me with Super Smash Bros.
Filling the critter.
My god!
Oh, okay.
Oh my god! Yes, I found the last critter. My Critterpedia is full, but Smash Brothers. Oh my god! What happened to me in Smash Brothers? Since this game came out, I have played it a lot. Right. And I mean a lot. I've put a stupid amount of time into Smash Brothers, and I just want to collect all the spirits. I just think that would be great to finally collect all the spirits. But I have never been able to collect the alternate costume spirits. Right? Every fighter gets a spirit. You beat their main story mode, and you get their spirit. But then there's all the alternate costumes, like Builder Mario and all the other Koopa kids. And I've never seen them. Never seen them in the game. Not once. Never
That's
showed
weird.
up. Can't figure it out. I go online. I ask people, how do you do this? They show up in the shops. Oh, okay. So I go to the shops. There's a spirit section, and there are 5 shops in there. After you've beaten the game, after you've beaten the story mode, there are 5 different shops that you can go to. And I go to those 5 different shops almost every goddamn day, and they're never in there. Ever.
Naturally.
So periodically, whenever I see somebody talk about, like, somebody I follow on Twitter, I'll be like, oh, there we go. I got the new spirits. I'm back to 100% completion on spirits. And I'll ask,
where did you
how
get them?
do you do this? Because I've never seen them show up in the shops. So the last one I saw posted was the current host of Radio Free Nintendo. It used to be my favorite podcast. I still have a ton of respect for the show, but after Johnny Metz left as host and James Jones took over as host, I loved James Jones as one of the co-hosts, but his personality doesn't really mesh with what I want out of a show, and he does a very fine job of hosting. This show just no longer became for me.
Right.
So I saw him post about it, and I said, I've asked this of many people many times. They always say go to the shops. They never show up. What am I doing wrong? He said, well, which shop are you going to? And I said, okay, I'm going to these shops. He's like, no, there's another shop that's not in the spirits section. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? There's another shop to get spirits that's not in the spirits section?
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
on the main menu, you go into the vault, and there's a shop in the vault that sells those other spirits. What the I've had the Switch on basically nonstop all day because they're not just there. They show up sporadically as you play the game.
Sure.
So, like, I've gotten a bunch. So I went through and I made a list of all the spirits that I'm missing, and I just keep the Switch on next to me, like, almost all day. Just to be like, okay, these are the ones I'm missing. I have 54 spirits to get.
That sounds super frustrating.
It's been a long time, Dan. It's been a very long time of me trying to... nothing shows up on the spirit board for me anymore. I've done all of that. The only things I can get are the ones that I can fuse or the ones that I can buy in this shop, which are apparently everything else, and I have been missing it for years.
I always felt like the few times that I have played Smash Brothers, I always felt like that shop, the whole menu system right at the beginning was very cumbersome.
It's absolutely bananas. The way the menu
that's not
system
just
works.
me.
No, it's not just you. And you can. What's nuts is you can really see the logic in it. You can look at this and say, I understand why you did it this way, but I don't understand why you are the way you are. Why is everything using the analog stick to drag a finger across the screen?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I really don't.
And you can't use the touch screen to do that stuff.
No. Why could you? Why would you be
I'm
able
on a
to do
character
that?
select screen. I just want to do like every other fighting game on the face of the planet. I just want to press, right, left. I just want to press the directions and move a thing or a little box around from character to character. I don't want to slide this thing here to there. I've never wanted to do that. It was silly with N64, but at least, okay, there are certain limitations you can do. But when they put this game on 3DS and Wii U, where there was an actual touchscreen, and I thought, wow, now there's a touchscreen. I bet I can just use the touch. Nope, you can't.
Nope.
You still got to use the analog stick to drag a cursor across the screen because Sakurai's insane. He's out of his mind.
The first time I sat down to play that, I was like, I don't even know, just looking at this menu, I don't even know where to go to get into a match. I'm out.
It's just bananas.
I hate this. Yeah.
Those new DLC characters are pretty great, though. Pyra and Mithra. It's just...
I have heard people are excited about them. So
yeah, I don't have any connection to Xenoblade besides I bought the first game on Wii because I was super happy they finally released it and I'd love to play it. I hear Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a game that I would probably very much enjoy if I learned it. But I don't know anything about these characters, but unlike Fire Emblem character number 654, there's a certain personality to these characters that I kind of enjoy. They're fun to use.
Well, that is the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's neat. So, that's been an obsession of mine. I have it in the notes up there, and I just completely skipped over it. But that's been my obsession for this past week since I learned that there's a whole other goddamn shop that's not. There's a shop for you to buy spirits that is not in the spirits section where the spirit shops are.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So, good times, great oldies. Puzzle and Dragons is a neat game, and I will endeavor to persevere. I will try. I will see where this week gets me.
I am more than willing and happy to play multiplayer with you and record it for the listeners because a couple of them did say that they would like to see that. So I think if we can, whenever the hell we could actually carve out some time and do that, that might be an interesting way to go through it as well.
It was certainly an interesting experience watching you play it right now. It's at the very least, even if I don't stick with this, and honestly, I'm looking at what you just did and the way that this game is supposed to be played, it doesn't seem like it's not the kind of puzzle that I particularly enjoy solving.
Right.
So I don't know that I'm going to stick with it. But that is 100% a me thing. I have an absolute respect for this game now that I understand what it is and how it works and how remarkably deep it is. I definitely have full on respect for this game.
It's not just a silly mobile game.
It's definitely not just a silly mobile game. This is, I mean, and even the good silly mobile games, Candy Crush, this is not.
No.
It's Candy Crush makes me want to vomit, but this is definitely not that. And it's I'm glad that I've put the time into it that I have, and I will continue for at least this week to try a little harder to keep a streak and not miss a day. Past that, I make no promises, but I will make the effort to try and learn the way this game is supposed to be played like that, because that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Well, one problem I kept running into is like I'd grab a thing and I'd be like, no, I didn't mean to grab that one, and then I'd let go of it, and that would be a turn, and I can't just put it back, but really I should have just kept sliding shit around to try and make it do what I wanted it to do in the first place, but well, whatever. We've been at this for a while. I think it's time to call it a night. What do you think?
For an episode where we didn't have an idea, turned out pretty good.
At least I hope so. I hope that wasn't boring for the listeners, because it wasn't boring for me, but that was it's pretty different. But we've been at this for 349 episodes. It's bound to be something different from time to time.
Give us a minute.
Shake things up.
Give us a break, you pricks. Yeah, I will upload that video so everyone hopefully watched along with it. I hope after hearing this that some of our listeners, because I know a few of them have downloaded Pad and tried it out, but watch the video, send me a friend request, and we will play together. I will walk you through it, baby steps. Come along, baby birds. I will help you all out. It's fucking great, man. It really is.
It was an adventure. It's been a week. All right, everybody. That is our show. Join us next week for episode 350, where we didn't plan ahead too well.
A topic amazing that we can't even tell you about it yet. You're going to have to be surprised, because it's the 350th episode, and there's no way we don't have anything planned for that. There's absolutely no shot. So trust us, it's going to be fucking dope.
The good news is we actually do have a plan. Unfortunately, we made this plan before realizing that it was the 350th episode.
No, this is totally a 350th episode plan.
So join us next week when Dan and I will be talking to Chris Denios. He is the developer behind a game that I have talked about quite a lot on this show, Save Me, Mr. Taco. I had some pretty sizable issues with that game, and apparently it has been on quite a ride since I checked out. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation to give you the basics that, if you remember, a year or two ago when I was talking about this game, I really wanted to like it more than I did. And I had a brief Twitter conversation with the developer because he said that the game was coming back out. And I said I didn't realize it was gone. But it was tied up in the whole weird Nicholas situation. And there's this massive update to the game that's going to address all these issues that people had with it. And I said, well, that sounds like something I want to mess with, because I really did like the idea of this game. And I can't use the update, because if you have the game already, you can't actually update it. It's been pulled from the shop, and in order to access the new version of the game, you got to buy it all over again.
Which is, it's going to be an interesting conversation, because that is a weird choice. It's a hard ask.
And that's not his choice.
No, certainly. I can't. How could it be?
That was the thing. That was the thing. I was like, well, that's unfortunate. What's the story? And it's like, unfortunately, it's not up to me. He has reached out to Nintendo and Steam of can we offer discounts to people who have the game already? Can we do something? And he so far has struck out in every regard. And I can't imagine he's happy about this, because every conversation I've seen this guy have on Twitter and ones that I've actually interacted with him, because he actually interacted with me back when the game came out.
Yeah.
About some of the issues that I had. I think I talked about it on the show. This guy loves this. He put his heart and soul into this game, and I really want to see it work out for him, because it's a neat little thing. It's got its heart's in the right place. And I feel terrible that I feel like relaunching this game isn't going to go as well as it should, because he's launching to a much more crowded marketplace than it was when this game first came out. And anybody who had this game in the first place isn't going to buy it a second time.
No,
like for the most part, I don't see a lot of people jumping into that.
That's some hard word of mouth right there.
But this whole thing it's a whole situation, and I really want to know as many details as I can about it. And I'm rooting for it. I am rooting for Mr. Taco.
That's right.
Mr. Denios as well. So, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, the Geekade Patreon, which helps us keep this show running week after week, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ollie. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd also like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place, except last week, because I edited the show last week. So if you liked all that Zelda music, that was all me. That's it, everybody. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.